Okay, let's get into this. Welcome, everyone. We're going to unpack the information you sent us today. We're looking at the International Clash Tour, specifically focusing on those result tables you provided, the match outcomes and the final standings. Our plan, to quickly sift through these numbers and pull out the main takeaways from these Clash Tour results for you.
Yeah, and when you put those result tables together, what really jumps out is just, well, how the final order sort of built up over the tour. You can see the story and the match scores, and then bam, the final table confirms it.
Absolutely. And right at the very top, wow, it's incredibly close. England finished first, 10 points, but then Great Britain and Ireland were right on their heels with 9 points. One single point in it after the whole thing.
It really shows, doesn't it, how every single match must have felt critical for those two teams.
Yeah.
Like any tiny slip up. And looking at the specific results in the tables, you see both of them had some big wins. England beat Guyana 4-0, Nigeria 4-0, and GB&I, they had a 3-1 against Guyana, 4-0 against Nigeria. Strong stuff. Those score lines definitely help rack up the points.
But, okay, here's where it gets really interesting, comparing those top two. Both England and Great Britain and Ireland drew 2-2 with Jamaica.
Exactly. Those draws, they feel, well, pivotal. If either England or GB&I had turned that draw into a win, the final standings might look different. It suggests Jamaica really stepped up, maybe played spoiler against the top seeds, which is pretty impressive for the team that ended up third.
Right. Speaking of third place, Jamaica finished on 7 points. Now, compare that 7 to GB&I's 9 points in second. That's a 2-point difference. Double the gap between first and second place.
Mm-hmm. And that pattern kind of continues down the table, too, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. Ireland's next, 4th place with 5 points. Then Nigeria on 3, and Guyana at the bottom with 2 points.
So you've got this really tight battle at the top, just those two. Then a clear step down to Jamaica, and then sort of smaller gaps, but still distinct steps between the rest.
Yeah, this distribution of points, just based on the results we have here, it does make you wonder. That tiny gap at the top suggests, consistency, maybe some really tense head-to-heads. We know about the Jamaica draws, for instance. But the bigger gap down to third implies Jamaica, while they could challenge the leaders, maybe weren't as consistent against everyone else compared to England and GB&I.
Yeah, the tables show Ireland in 4th with 5 points. They beat Guyana. But then Nigeria, who finished 5th with 3 points, they actually beat Ireland.
Right.
Yet Nigeria also had those really heavy losses against the top two teams. And Guyana, well, they finished last with just 2 points.
So it tells you, I think, that in that bottom half of the table, it wasn't quite so straightforward. Not a clear pecking order like at the top. Specific matchups really mattered. You get results that, well, might seem a bit odd if you only look at the final points total between them. Like you said, Nigeria beats Ireland, but Ireland finishes higher.
Yeah.
Presumably because of how they did against, other teams.
Okay, so summing this up, these result tables show the International Clash Tour had a clear top tier. England and GB&I, super close, very dominant. Then Jamaica carving out that best of the rest spot, crucially taking points off the leaders. Mm-hmm. And then below that, things were a bit more unpredictable. More variability, teams beating each other, leading to those smaller point gaps, but still a separation from that top three.
Yeah, you get a pretty clear picture of the final outcome and definitely some hints about the key moments, especially for those top spots, just from looking at these numbers you shared.
It's been really interesting digging into these Clash Tour results.
Definitely. And it may be something for you to think about looking at these standings, given how tiny that gap was between England and GB&I at the top compared to the jump down to Jamaica. What does that suggest about what really mattered more in this tour? Was it about consistently beating the lower-ranked teams without fail, or was it more about performance in those high-pressure matches against your absolute closest rivals? Was the title won or lost in those head-to-heads at the very peak?